As Titans, we stand tall, showing the way as a leading CSU and a top public university in the West. Titans support community, providing spaces for coming together that add depth to the human experience. Titans celebrate opportunity, holding high our achievement in making education accessible with tuition well below the national average. Titans welcome challenge, responding to the state's evolving workforce needs and driving economic development. Titans embrace diversity, knowing that our differing backgrounds and perspectives strengthen our students. Titans pursue innovation, creating a university that is an emerging national model for empowering students on their way to a degree. Titans reach higher.
Good morning. Welcome to Cal State Fullerton's 2015 Convocation. My name is Jose Luis Cruz, and I have the distinct privilege of opening our President's fourth Convocation address. I was not here for President Garcia's first Convocation, but I made a point of watching her speech online when I was aspiring to be your provost and to become a Titan. What struck me then, and what continues to inspire me now, is her ability to foster a sense of urgency when it's necessary to sustain a sense of purpose. In that speech, just weeks into her presidency, she expressed her admiration for our university's many accomplishments and her confidence that we could become, and I quote, the model comprehensive university of the nation. Today, it is evident that President Garcia's confidence at the time was well placed. Cal State Fullerton has made great strides toward becoming the model comprehensive university of the nation and has done so by leveraging its history and embracing its capacity for transformational change. Our university's capacity for transformational change is perhaps best illustrated in one of my favorite passages in the book, The Fullerton Way. According to the passage, sometime in 1959, our first president, William Langsdorff, met with Miles McCarthy in an attempt to recruit him as the university's first science professor. During the meeting, McCarthy asked about the resources that would be available to build this new university. The president confidently explained that they were in good shape because, after all, they had a staff car and 2 fountain pens. Later, Langsdorff, in what was perhaps an attempt to seal the deal, took the prospective faculty member to a hill, pointed to the emergent campus, and exclaimed, "There it is." Interestingly, even though all McCarthy recalled seeing was nothing but orange groves in all directions, he rose to the occasion and accepted the offer. This capacity to rise to the occasion was described by Lawrence DeGraff, Professor Emeritus of History and editor of the Fullerton Way, as a spirit of confidence. A spirit of confidence, and I would add, a sense of urgent purpose that President Garcia's remarks today will prove are alive and well in our university. Now, I do not want to steal any of our president's thunder, not that I could if I tried, but before asking her to take the stage, I want to talk about something she won't. And that is how she has worked tirelessly to nurture the conditions that have helped accelerate our progress toward becoming the model comprehensive university of the nation. During the last 3 years, I have witnessed how President Garcia uses regular meetings with faculty, staff, students, administrators, and deliberative and governing bodies to not only keep her finger on the pulse of the university, but also ensure that her energy, her strategic insight, and her strong leadership ripple outward. During this time, I have also witnessed how she leverages her role in local, regional, and national organizations to advance our university's mission and ensure that our campus efforts are informed by national conversations and inspired by promising and proven best practices. And it is precisely because of her strong leadership and our campus community's commitment to urgent, purposeful, and transformational change that I am confident that no matter what gauntlet is thrown down before us, we will rise to meet it. And that in the process of doing so, we will model to other institutions across the nation how they too can deliver on our country's twin promises of opportunity and social mobility for the diverse and increasingly underserved students that are coming of age in the America of today. Per tradition, our President's Convocation address will review the year that was and frame the year that will be. Please join me in welcoming to this podium Cal State Fullerton's President, Dr. Mildred García.
Good morning, buenos dias. Are you here? Buenos dias, good morning. Welcome and happy new academic year. I'd like to begin by recognizing some guests we have in the audience. Many of our philanthropic board members are here. Our alumni are proudly represented by Young Woo, President of the Alumni Association, and several other Alumni Association board members. Both the CSU Board of Trustees and our student body are represented by the same amazing young woman, Kelsey Brewer. Dr. Emily Bonney, newly elected chair of the Academic Senate, and many of her fellow senators are in attendance. Dr. Erica Bowers, chair of the Planning, Resource, and Budget Committee is here. And of course, Micah Bedell, ASI president, is here and is accompanied by an outstanding group of other students. As the good kids say, they're in the house. Let's give all of them and every one of you who's in the house a big round of applause. Thank you. 2 years ago, I stood on this stage and signaled my commitment to significantly increase the number of tenure-track and tenured faculty. Last year, after hiring 62 new tenure-track faculty members, we recalibrated our rolling 2-year hiring goal from 133 to 150. And today, I am proud to welcome our 67 newest tenure-track faculty members to the Titan family. As a group, they represent our efforts to continue diversifying our ranks. More than half of them are women, over 30% are Asian, 13% are Latino, and 3% are African American. At this time, I ask that this amazing group please stand so the rest of us can give you a warm Titan welcome. Please stand. I am also proud to acknowledge the presence of 9 new full-time lecturers who will contribute their wisdom, talent, and energy to our university's efforts to sustain the preeminence of learning. I'd like to ask this group to stand so we could also extend you a welcome, a Titan welcome. Where are you? Please stand. Please notice our new faculty members have a special name tag. During the reception, introduce yourself, and you will find that our strategic plan's third goal, to recruit and retain a high-quality and diverse faculty and staff, has come to life in this outstanding group who are not only the best in their fields, but also mirror the diversity of our ever-evolving student body. I also like to take a moment to welcome the new Dean of the College of the Arts, Dale Merrill. Welcome, Dale. Please stand so people see you. And let's welcome our staff members and administrators whose qualifications and diversity equally align with the goals of our strategic plan. There are many of them. So will the staff and administrators who are here that are joining us for the very first Cal State Fullerton Convocation, please stand and be recognized. Thank you, and welcome to everyone. A few weeks ago, on a stroll across campus, I passed a group of incoming freshmen participating in the new student orientation. Nervous, giddy, exhilarated by the promise of what lay ahead, their adult lives beginning just as it did for all of us once a little while ago. Seeing them and feeling my own heart swell, my thoughts wandered to a story that is a different story. A new student orientation that was articulated by Julian Castro, Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, at our most recent commencement ceremony. To paraphrase Julian and his twin brother were going into the 6th grade. And at their orientation, an administrator announced that about half the students probably wouldn't make it to the 8th grade graduation. Julian's mother promptly yanked out the brother and enrolled him somewhere else. Because as she later explained, she didn't want her boys to be at a place where people couldn't see them graduating even from the 8th grade. So as I walked past our new student orientation, I couldn't help but think of all of you, the faculty, staff, and students of this remarkable university who see our students for their promise rather than their risk, who see more in them than they even see in themselves, and who see a brighter future for both the private good for our graduates and the public good of the region in which one day they will build careers, raise families, and lead communities. And here were these wide-eyed freshmen beginning their journey, just as we are now beginning ours in this new academic year. So it is with great pride that I begin the 2015-16 academic year by announcing to these students and the more than 38,000 students we serve that we at Cal State Fullerton wholeheartedly believe all of them can graduate, not half, not 60%, not 2/3, every single one of them. And every last one of us I know will do everything in our power to reach those high standards and support them in doing what they need to do to finish. Just a few months ago, 9,454 students earned degrees from our university, making the Titan class of 2015 the largest class in our 58-year history. That's right. More than half of these graduates were first-generation college students, and it was an honor to preside over their commencement and realize the entire trajectory of their family legacies had been forever transformed. I know this because I am the proud aunt to many nieces and nephews who are college-bound, in college, or are successful college graduates. Only one generation removed from my journey as the daughter of factory workers who were smart beyond their means, but only had the opportunity for an 8th grade education. The faculty and staff who illuminated my collegiate path weren't just supporting me. They were supporting those who have come after me and the communities in which they, one day, and are living and working. So as we gather here this morning to reflect on the generational impact of our work, it is not hard for me to not think about my family. Like many of you, I often take advantage of time after commencement to collapse and spend time with family. And this summer was no different as we vacationed together in Italy. Also, like many of you, as proud representatives of Cal State Fullerton, regardless of where I am in the world, my mind and heart are always in some ways back to Fullerton, to all of you, and tied to our students. So while in Italy, when the opportunity arose to welcome 16 Titans to their 6-week study abroad program in Florence, I jumped the chance. I joined Dr. Pamela Fiber-Ostro, Associate Professor of Political Science, and the students over an authentic Italian meal. And while we discussed their hopes for the program, which featured day trips to Venice, Siena, and Rome, I realized the impact this experience would have on all of these students would be immeasurable. To put it in perspective, I have traveled the globe over the course of my life in 3 presidencies. And yet, as I broke bread with these students in a tiny restaurant in Florence, I too could feel my life transforming through their eyes, my perspective shifting. My passions were reignited. And if traveling could be such an impactful experience for me, imagine what it does for students who've never been on an airplane or had the opportunity to venture outside of Orange County. I want to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Fiber-Ostro and all the faculty and staff who have provided these life-changing study away or study abroad experiences to all of our students. My other favorite summertime activity is traveling around the world to share the wonderful work you're doing here at Cal State Fullerton. Over the past few months, I participated in the International Women's Forum 2015 World Cornerstone Conference in Johannesburg, South Africa. I traveled to Cape Town to meet with graduate students in education at the University of Western Cape, where we have a partnership. And I had the honor of joining the Titan baseball team, both in Omaha for their 17th College World Series appearance and in South Korea for the World University Games. And everywhere I went, from Ewha Women's University in South Korea, which is the largest women's university in the world, to the University of the Western Cape in South Africa, where diversity and inclusion is simply part of their public policy, I could see our circle of influence continue to widen across the globe based on many of our recent achievements. Indeed, we aimed high in 2014-15, far beyond what appeared possible, and yet here we are, 1 year later, with many of our marks achieved and some exceeded. So before we reach higher into the next academic year, I like to spend a little more time reflecting back on what we set out to do last year and how collectively we hit our goals. As you may remember, we laid out our aspirations for the 14-15 academic year with 5 priorities based on our strategic plan. And I will reference them now as I touch on just a few of our achievements over the past year. Key words in that sentence are just a few, because there is no way possible I can highlight all of our achievements. We'd be here way too long. And if I don't mention whatever it is you are most proud of, rest assured, I and we are equally proud, and we hold your work in high regard. Priority 1 from last year's convocation revolved around our goal to begin the 2-year process of developing an academic master plan. I am proud to report that after extensive consultation with campus constituencies, the framework for the development of the university's first ever academic master plan is complete and has both my approval and that of the President's Advisory Board. Our next step is to engage the campus community in discussions about how to best respond to the questions described in the plan's framework document and in the work required to finalize a plan that will effectively assert the vitality of our institution and our mission. In order to best underscore another significant success surrounding the first priority, allow me to turn the clock back even further. Upon my arrival in 2012, I was presented with the WAS letter on reaccreditation. And while the commission found much to commend, they recognized we were not meeting our full potential. and thus our reaccreditation was limited to 7 years rather than the full 10 years. As a result, a request for an interim report was due in spring 2015 and was put forth to serve as a benchmark of our progress in addressing the WASP concerns. In spring of 2014, I appointed a WASP Interim Report Steering Committee chaired by Provost Cruz and subcommittees comprised of 36 diverse members of the faculty, staff, and student body. Subsequently, I shared the results of their work with the campus community, and the feedback you provided informed the final report submitted to the WASP Commission on February 2015. Last month, the WASP Commission panel reported that they were extremely impressed with our interim report and the progress that the university has made in addressing their concerns. This is wonderful news for Cal State Fullerton, a testament to all of your hard work and worthy of a round of applause. The first priority outlined in last year's convocation also called upon the expansion of data-driven decision-making. The Division of Information Technology, that we call IT, in collaboration with the divisions of Academic Affairs and Student Affairs, has been hard at work in this arena with the enhancement of and implementation of the EAB Student Success Dashboard and the expansion of the Titan Advisors Network Note System and Tracker. IT also implemented the electronic catalog system, doubled the capacity of Wi-Fi in common areas, the students love that, and completed phase 1 of the creation of the new Faculty Commons, which incorporates the Academic Technology Center, the Faculty Development Center, and online education and training. Priority 2 of last year's goals revolved around developing a culture of philanthropy through prospect engagement, pipeline development, and fundraising success. Again, to truly appreciate how far we've come on this goal, which ultimately stems from our strategic plan, let's go back to our total new gift commitments for the fiscal year 2012-13, the year before the plan was implemented. That year, our total new gift commitments was $8.5 million. The following fiscal year, 13-14, which was the first year of our strategic plan and in full gear, total new gift commitments nearly doubled to $16.1 million. To be clear, in that 1 year, we surpassed our 5-year goal to increase philanthropic giving to at least $15 million. So with our goal firmly achieved, what did we do? We reached even higher. And our total new gift commitments for this past fiscal year was more than $17 million. That is the second highest fundraising year in the history of this institution, second only to the year Steve Mihalo made his transformative gift to the College of Economics, Business and Economics. And we not only had extraordinary gifts, we're also seeing a growing number of donors. Again, in the context of our strategic plan, from the fiscal year before it was implemented to today, the number of individual donors has increased by 37%. And alumni donors are up by 38%. And over the past year, staff, faculty, and emeriti donors are up 27%. Perhaps even more impressive than the growth has been our ability to lower the cost to raise a dollar. Pre-strategic plan, our cost to raise a dollar was the highest in the CSU system at 49 cents for every dollar raised. Today, it is below 20 cents a dollar. I can assure you, this is not happening by chance. It is made possible by the work of our outstanding faculty, staff, and students. Of course, University Advancement has done an incredible job of breathing life into the fourth goal of our strategic plan, perhaps more importantly, by simply sharing our story to a wider swath of Orange County. But our faculty members have been just as integral to this process. not just in sharing their own stories, research, and work around the country, but in creating, teaching, and inspiring new generations of graduates who are telling a new Titan story. It's an inspiring story, and it's taken us from what once was the University of Convenience to the destination university by our students. And thus, we continue in our quest to become the model public comprehensive university of the nation. Through a 105% increase in earned media coverage over the past 3 years, our story has in fact become the driving force for the culture of philanthropy we have successfully achieved. This culture will be on full display at Concert Under the Stars on September 19th, celebrating the Motown scene. And I hope the Motown sound is one you love and that you're all out there dancing away with the rest of us. As many of you know, University Advancement, together with the College of the Arts, has successfully transformed the concert into the university's signature event. And this year, we've already passed our goals. Our goal was to gross $650,000, and we're returning to the campus $419,000 for the campus and college programs. That's amazing. So congratulations. In the third priority of my 2014 Convocation address, I called upon the need to improve student persistence and address the achievement gap for underrepresented students through increased cross-college divisional collaboration. Again, let's go back and look at the numbers we were presented with when we gathered to formulate our strategic plan in 2012. At that time, our 6-year graduation rate was 51%. We aimed incredibly high with our strategic plan, announcing a goal to increase the graduation rate to 60%. And there were those outside our campus community who felt we wouldn't land on this goal in 5 years. And as it turns out, they were right. We did it in 3. It is with great pleasure that I announce that our 6-year graduation rate is over 60%. It's 61%. That is a gain of 10 percentage points, which is a 19% improvement and the highest such rate in the institution's history. Further, we lowered an achievement gap that was stubbornly hovering around 12%. It's now down to 9%. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment to soak in those numbers. Reflect on what that means for our students and their families, and reflect on all the hard work of all of you who made it happen. And that deserves another round of applause. Our incredible success in student persistence, retention, and graduation over the past year is a result of our faculty's commitment to improving student learning via curricular changes, course redesign, high-impact practices, and leveraging co-curricular practices such as supplemental instruction and service learning. For example, college algebra is listed as one of the system-wide high-demand, low-success courses. And here on our campus, Dr. Sherry Inichose turned large sections into a personalized, interactive experience, using flipped learning activities to provide each student with immediate feedback. Dr. Nancy Fitch transformed our lower division GE courses in world civilization and US history into a media-rich, dynamic environment in which students engaged in themed course assignments and online discussions. Our success in this area also comes largely through the collaborative work of the faculty and staff in the divisions of academic and student affairs. Together, they created this innovative student success teams, which are now present in all 8 colleges, as well as the Irvine campus and in graduate studies. Funds from our Student Success Initiative also enabled Academic Affairs and Student Affairs to partner with Human Resources Development and Inclusion in the hiring of 9 graduation specialists, 9 retention specialists, and 27 other specialists and advisors to support retention and graduation efforts. Priority 4, at last year's convocation, asked the campus to build upon our strong sense of place on behalf of the communities that define it. Specifically, a charge was put forth for the Division of Administration and Finance to complete an organizational and operational review of capital programs and facilities operations. To that end, the division hired consultants to conduct a general study of facilities planning and management, the Building Safety Office, capital project management, and facilities operation. The resulting report was the impetus for many changes that have significantly streamlined the project delivery process, improved customer service, minimized cost, and increased transparency. Administration and Finance also partnered with IT to implement the Titan e-procurement marketplace, a one-stop online ordering system. They worked with the faculty and staff of the university library and the broader campus community in finalizing the plans for the first phase of our Libraries of the Future initiative. And with funds from the Student Success Initiative, they launched the Classroom Technology Initiative. And finally, priority 5. From last year's convocation address, call for the bolstering of tenure-track faculty hiring, professional development, and leadership training so as to more effectively align the skills and diversity of our faculty and staff with our student body. Over the past year, the Division of Human Resources, Diversity and Inclusion, for the new people's HRDI in short, formed an innovative partnership with IT, academic affairs, and other stakeholders to implement the faculty e-recruit platform. Launched in May 2015, the platform has already received 600 applications, and 93% provided ethnic gender self-identification data, which helps HRDI measure the efficacy of recruitment and outreach. As a result of this and many other efforts, ethnic and gender diversity in hiring has increased across the board. In the area of professional development, HRDI provided training for over 100 managers, including deans, and provided Title IX and discrimination, harassment, and retaliation training for 200 managers, including deans and chairs. The Faculty Development Center provided many additional opportunities for faculty development, including specialized faculty learning communities on topics such as teaching and learning, teaching with technology in mind, and encouraging conversations, a dialogue about diversity and inclusivity. We have been quite busy. So to wrap up our look at last year, I asked Strategic Communications to put together a short video that touches on some other noted achievements. Again, please keep in mind, the Year in Review video is a trailer, not a feature film, which means that your achievements, the ones you're most proud of, may not be highlighted. But I can assure you, its absence is in no way a reflection of the importance of your work or our level of pride of your achievement. With this in mind, let's watch the video.
You
What an incredible year. Thank you. Let's once again join me in thanking Strategic Communications for putting together this slideshow, as well as the earlier video you saw when we began. Thank you so very much. I began this address talking about beginnings, and while every story has one, it is often the midpoint in a good story that has the most impact. It is the moment the stakes are raised, when the hero goes from reactive to proactive as she begins her ascent to what is hopefully a happy and successful ending. The heroes and sheroes of Cal State Fullerton's story have always been our students. And since 2013, when our 5-year strategic plan was implemented, your work in achieving the plan's 4 goals has been the foundation of thousands of student success stories. You've taken them from their humble beginnings at new student orientation, past the midpoint of the sophomore slump, and onto the happy ending that is commencement. But today, as we enter the 2015-16 academic year, it is our 5-year strategic plan that is at its midpoint. The stakes, as they say, are now being raised for us, often due to our incredible success, and it is now time to elevate our aspirations to meet our potential. With this in mind, I want to align and elevate our priorities through the lens of the document that got us here, our strategic plan. Now, I know that at this point, most of you can recite the plan's 4 goals in your sleep. But humor me for a moment as I go over them as I set our goals for the upcoming year. Our strategic plan's first goal, develop a curricular and co-curricular environment that prepares students for participation in a global society and is responsive to workforce needs, will be anchored by the continued development and implementation of the aforementioned academic master plan. After a campus-wide collegial decision-making process, the academic master plan will have final approval in summer of 2016. I am pleased to announce that Provost Cruz and Dr. Emily Bonney, chair of the Academic Senate, will co-chair the Academic Master Plan Steering Committee, and there will also be 4 subcommittees, all of them made up of a diverse group of faculty, staff, and students. The 4 committees are Program Degrees Outcomes, Students, Faculty and Pedagogy, and Infrastructure and Resources. We will also continue our development with our Student Success Dashboard, EAB Student Success Collaborative Platform, and CSU's Graduation Initiative Dashboard. In the area of assessment, we will build upon this past year's success, which included the university's first ever annual assessment report, and academic programs will continue transferring ownership of assessment to individual departments while providing centralized support. Further, the Division of Student Affairs will continue re-engineering programs to better meet our student needs, including the revisioning of the Women's Center and Adult Reentry Services and the Career Center, which will become more college-focused by integrating career and academic advising. The strategic plan's second goal, improve student persistence, graduation rates, and narrow the achievement gap for underrepresented students, will be grounded by our continued drive to increase participation in high-impact practices. For the new people, we call it HIPS. Our newly created HIP tracking system will be implemented by IT, and the division will also be developing and implementing a HIPS application and tracking via Titanium. Additionally, the Faculty Development Center will offer high-impact teaching workshops and support for our faculty. Academic Affairs will be implementing the first stage of the HIPS REACH pilot with an eye on the replication and scalability of proven practices. New programs like the President's Strategic Fund will also bolster HIPS, by initially funding 10 HIP study away and study abroad courses to commence winter during the intersession in 2016. Student Affairs will be innovating ways to promote retention of at-risk students, including a new program in the Diversity Initiatives and Resource Centers that will provide HIPs in the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Academic Affairs will be monitoring high enrollment, low success classes and identify mechanisms to scale successful course redesign and student support services, such as supplemental instruction. Once again, our faculty play a key role in this work, and their efforts have been so outstanding, we are emerging as a system-wide model and a national model. For example, our faculty lead on supplemental instruction, Dr. Phil Janowicz, has just been appointed the interim director of the Center for Excellence in Supplemental Instruction through the Chancellor's Office, and will now be training all of CSU in the area of supplemental instruction. Dr. Joachim Boutalakis leads a peer mentoring program across multiple departments to increase retention of underrepresented students, and Drs. John Gleaves and Matt Llewellyn take students to Greece to study sports and physical activity while staying at the International Olympic Academy. I could go on and on about the work that's being done with the HIPs with faculty and staff, but the bottom line is this. Our faculty, working alongside the staff, have been engaged in HIP activities for decades, long before it ever became a nifty little acronym to describe them. And I'm proud of their work in continuing to build upon this legacy as we strive to ensure that 75% of all of our diverse students participate in at least 2 HIPs by graduation. Both physical and environmental climates are also important aspects of Goal 2 and are critical to our students' success. To that end, the Administration and Finance, in collaboration with IT, Academic Affairs, Student Affairs, and others, will again be focused upon building our sense of place by increasing cleanliness, aesthetics, vibrancy, Titan pride, and campus policing and safety. Our strategic plan's third goal, recruit and retain a high quality and diverse faculty and staff, will now revolve around the rollout of the university's first ever diversity action plan. Using the results of the Campus Climate Survey, HRDI, conducted last year, the Cross-Divisional Diversity Action Plan Committee took the time to develop the plan this past academic year. The plan, which is tentatively titled Titans Together, an action plan for enhancing equity, inclusion, and civility, identifies the chief elements that will foster a welcoming, supportive, and inclusive working and learning environment for all faculty, staff, students, and all that come to visit us. It will be shared with the campus community, and it will be implemented this fall. All campus stakeholders will be encouraged to collaboratively ensure that the plan is operationalized and continually re-examined. We will also continue our plan that was approved is a 2-year plan to hire 150 high-quality tenure and tenure-track faculty members. As we saw earlier, we've already had remarkable success. More than 20% of our faculty, or 1 out of every 5 of our current tenure and tenure-track faculty, were hired in the last 3 years. Our strategic plan's fourth goal, increase revenue through fundraising, entrepreneurial activities, grants, and contracts, will continue to evolve as we strive to the top of the incredible success we've had over the past couple of years. Much of this success was driven out of necessity, given the unprecedented disinvestment from the state that we've been weathering. This year, the 2015-16 state budget fulfilled the CSU trustees' request for $217 million in new funds. It is the first time in a decade that our budget request was fully funded by the state, and the increase stems largely from the efforts of the faculty, staff, and students from this campus and our 22 sister campuses. Together, we articulated to lawmakers that the trustees' budget request is a crucial investment in the best interest of our state and our society. Our campus has received its budget allocation from the Chancellor's office. Our Planning, Resource, and Budget Committee has sent their recommendations to me, and I will be providing my decision on their recommendations in the very near future. While the budget increase is outstanding news, it in no way means we're out of the woods. From 2008 to 2012, $1 billion of state revenue was lost. In other words, we cannot take our foot off the gas of the fundraising culture we've created. For example, this past year, through the efforts of our exceptional faculty and staff, we submitted for more than $87 million in external grant funds and received nearly $23 million last year. That is a significant increase from the approximately $19 million we received the year prior to the strategic plan's implementation. And I am confident those numbers will continue to grow through a variety of efforts, including the development of a one-stop research portal where research resources will be accessible to all faculty, staff, and students. University advancement is hard at work to innovate new philanthropic and community engagement strategies, such as the President's Roundtable, a small group of community leaders who will act as my liaisons for connecting us with a wider group of citizens and supporters. We are bringing back women of distinction in order to engage and grow the number of women on our university and college boards, and the Philanthropic Board is implementing a strategic plan anchored with our own strategic plan. As many of you know, I just completed my 3-year review before the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees. To be clear, this wasn't just my review. It was a review of the entire university, the faculty, staff, and students, and our collective efforts over the past 3 years. So it is with great pleasure that I inform you that the Board of Trustees and the Chancellor are extremely pleased by our work, particularly in the areas of improving graduation rates, decreasing the achievement gap, implementing a highly effective strategic plan, and elevating the role of human resource management, diversity, and inclusiveness. The other great news from our review stems from the recommendations put forth by the Chancellor and the trustees as we move forward. To put it simply, they are asking us to do what we're already doing, or as I like to tell the Chancellor, we're on it. Specifically, they're asking that first, we improve philanthropy and fundraising. 2, improve graduation rates and reduce the achievement gap at a pace that matches or exceeds the CSU graduation initiative. 3, further increase gender and diversity of faculty and staff. And 4, complete and implement the academic master plan and the diversity action plan. In other words, the priorities put forth in my review perfectly aligns with the 4 goals of our strategic plan. It's the work we're already engaged in and the areas we will be focusing on this year and that I just highlighted in this address. This confirms my belief that we are well on our way to even greater heights, and I look forward to celebrating our 60th year diamond anniversary in 2017 as a model public comprehensive university of the nation. In closing, and what is becoming an annual convocation tradition, I'd like to talk about our recent crowning as the winner of Forbes' #MyTopCollege social media campaign. As many of you know, this makes us the undefeated and back-to-back heavyweight champion, the nationwide social media campaign. This year, Forbes considered both the quantity and quality of tweets and Instagrams from faculty, staff, students, and alumni of more than 300 universities, making it all the more challenging to get that top spot. Forbes may have nailed the reason for our success when the magazine announced that, and I quote, "Community was an undeniable component of my top college campaign this year," unquote. From my perspective, much of our award-winning sense of community stems from our faculty and staff. And I was proud and pleased to notice many of our professors got in the My Top College Fund this year. So what does community look like in the form of tweets and Instagram posts from our faculty members? Here are just a few examples. My top college is CSUF for having the most diverse student body I've ever taught. My students were success-driven, and they were fun. CSUF is my top college for recognizing its faculty. Congratulations, Dr. Emily Erickson, for tenure and promotion. CSUF is my top college, and I am very proud of the work that Student Affairs is doing for first-generation higher education. As I read these and many other tweets from our faculty, I couldn't help but be reminded of the small group faculty meetings I host in my office every few weeks throughout the academic year. In these meetings, I hear directly from our faculty members, and what I find is while their fields of study and research obviously vary greatly, they are all linked by the same passion for the students that we serve. Here are some direct quotes from those meetings that underscore these faculty members' passion. I'm a first-generation college student, and I love having students like me. I love to mentor students who've never met anyone with a PhD. I came from a place where it was difficult to see beyond today. I love showing our students the opportunity for a brighter future is there. I'm sure you can hear the ongoing themes in these quotes, and I was pleased to see it come shining through in all the faculty tweets from this year My Top College campaign. But as I scrolled through My Top College posts from our students, I saw the same theme emerge. Students talking about how their professors are changing their lives by encouraging them to reach higher in the classroom and community. Here are a few My Top College posts from students that encapsulate what many of them expressed throughout the campaign. CSUF is my top college because of the phenomenal liberal studies professors who made my 4 years there the best educational experience of my life. The professors at CSUF are top-notch and offer excellent mentoring and advice. Of course, our staff and administrators were also the object of much of our students' admiration, and the campus itself is often referred by many students as home, such as in this student's tweet. CSUF is my top college because no matter where I go in life, I will always be a Titan, and CSUF will always be my home. Colleagues, I want to take a moment to thank each of you for dedicating so much to these students and for making this campus community their home. From the moment they nervously arrive for orientation to their triumphant celebration at commencement, what an incredible ride for them, but also for us and for every single student whose life is transformed by the work you do regardless of where you work on a day-to-day basis. I am so proud to be sharing all of this with all of you. Each of you are the reason Cal State Fullerton is my top college. Thank you, fellow Titans, and keep reaching higher. Now let's use this reception to celebrate all of these accomplishments, welcome in the new academic year, and welcome our new colleagues. Thank you.